Welcome to Not a Roofers podcast, where we discuss roofing
without all the jargon. I'm Brianna.
And I'm Charity.
And this is today's episode.
Hello, and welcome back to Not a Roofers podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about something just slightly different. It's related to roofing, but it is not completed by most roofers.
We are going to talk about tuck point or tuck pointing, and we'll get on with this definition, and then we'll explain why we're talking about it more. So, tuck point is a transitive verb, not a noun this time, and it is to finish the mortar joints between bricks or stones with a narrow ridge of putty or fine lime mortar. So that is what we're talking about today.
Yes. So, as I mentioned, tuck pointing is technically a roofing term, but not done by most roofers. And that is because it has to deal with the chimney. And roofers are not masonaries. And tuck pointing is done by masonaries. However, there are roofing companies that have masonaries that work for them. So that is why I say that most roofers don't do it, because it's a completely different job title.
Yeah, so, and it's not, we're going to expand this a little bit. It is not just chimneys, however, it is mostly chimneys. There's also been a couple buildings I've been on where there's a little brick structure on the top of like a building with an elevator. So there's a little brick building at the top so you can get onto the roof, but it also has all the elevators parts. So it's wherever there's brick or stone walls, which is mostly chimneys in a lot of cases, but there are buildings that have other structures with them as well. So it's not really related to roofing. So you may be wondering why in the world we are talking about tuck pointing.
It is related to roofing because...
Well, so it is, but it's not, because as we said, a lot of roofing companies can't deal with it.
But it's still an issue that is seen on roofs, and people will call us for roof leaking to later find out that it has to do with the chimney or other stone and brick structures on a roof.
Yeah, so we're talking about it because of the fact that, you know, our company will get called and we'll go out and it'll be, oh, hey, we can't help you because of the type of issue it is. And the thing with tuck pointing is that it is a big cause of leaks if you haven't been taking preventative measures to protect the tuck pointing on your brick or stone structures. So just like we've talked about in roofing, there's preventative maintenance and there's repairs and everything. The same thing goes for brick and stone structures. The mortar between them, even though it is meant to withstand and last a long time, will get cracks and holes, particularly after, you know, big storms or, you know, the life of it also has a lifespan. I did find mortar is expected to last about 30 years as long as it's taken care of properly. So if it's not taken care of properly, things like wet weather, moss growth, mold, and mildew can start to create cracks in that, and then those cracks can lead to leaks. And when there's a leak coming from your roof area, you call a roofer, and sometimes we can't help, which is why we thought we'd talk about it. So, Charity, if you have someone come out and there is a tuck point issue you find out, should you do it yourself? Should you call a professional? You know, what's the path to this?
Oh, Brianna, I've said it once. I'll say it again. Roofing issues are not DIY projects.
But this isn't, we just talked about this. This isn't, like, it is a roof issue, but it's not a roof issue. It's tuck pointing, which deals with mortar, and people will do that on their own, right?
Oh. Yes, people do it on their own, but it's not a do-it-yourself project. Like, okay, so I know that I just bought a house and I'm going to do a lot of the inside projects by myself because those projects are able to be done by yourself. When it comes to structure, roofing, chimneys, those are not things you should be doing by yourself. It can cause more damage. One, most of the time you don't know how to get the correct consistency of the mortar or grout that you're using. Um, you want to make sure that it's actually going where it's supposed to go, just not where you think it goes. Like there is actual places that it needs to go. There's a technique to be used to fix this. You're going to cost yourself more if you go up and do it yourself. Because if it fails, and we have seen this happen where and not with the masonry or the tuck pointing stuff, but with roofing issues, I have had people call me and they're like, hey, so I tried to fix this myself and it failed. And then you end up costing yourself more money because not only did you buy the products to do it yourself and you took the time to do it yourself, but now you have to pay someone to do it professionally. And you could have cut out some of that by just paying someone to do it professionally to start with.
Yeah. So, if you didn't catch that, we do not recommend you do it yourself. Call a professional. Part of that is just like I already don't understand roofing, let alone like masonry work. No, thank you. So, if you call a professional in, they're going to be able to spot the things that you won't. So, you might think that, you know, it needs to be fixed in one area when in reality it needs to be fixed in 10. So, if you call somebody, they're going to be able to see
And
those areas.
and I will admit, the only time you probably don't have to have someone do it professionally is if it's your job and your building. Because if that's your job and you own the building, you clearly know what you're going to be doing. Like, our boss is a roofer. If something happens on his house, he's just going to do it himself because that's his job.
Well, and I'll bring this point up. Like, there's also always the opportunity to learn. And so, let's say you did once upon a time work for a company that did masonry work and you have a knowledge of it. Like, of course, go ahead. I think it's really interesting. I know I was talking with some of our workers and I asked them why they got into the roofing industry because, like, I don't know why I got into the roofing industry, really. Like, it was
You
not
needed a
my
job.
goal. I needed a job. And like Charity, I'm sure you never thought you'd be in the roofing industry either, and here we are. Anyway, I asked them, I was like, like they're young, they're younger than I am, and I was like, why are you in the roofing industry? And one of them, very point blank, said that he wanted to learn as many trade skills as he could when he was younger, so that in the future, when things happen, he has at least some knowledge. So I know he is working for a roofing company. He now has a knowledge of roofing and how to fix problems. So when he has a house in the future, he probably can do that himself without needing to call somebody. He is working with um, cars right now. He's learning about cars so that he can fix his own car problems instead of having to bring it into a shop and pay someone else to do it. So there's also that side of it of like, if you want to use it as a learning experience and you found a way to learn, go ahead. I think about it in this terms. I have in my apartment, I have what some people call an ugly floral couch. Okay. I love my couch, but some people hate it. And I've already said that in the future, maybe I will want to reupholster it myself. And that will be a skill that I will want to go and learn and read about and get the right tools and do it properly. I know there are colleges that offer classes for it. And then in that case, it becomes a DIY. Because there's some sort of knowledge behind it. So, side note, if you want to learn something, go ahead, learn it. We're not telling you that you have to always trust professionals if you want to go learn something yourself.
But don't learn yourself by doing it yourself.
Yeah. learn by like doing research and working with somebody, maybe partnering with somebody who has the skills or knowledge, or taking classes. I don't know if there's roofing classes that you can take. I'm sure somewhere somebody is offering them. But like maybe there's somewhere that's offering a learn how to do it option. So, tuck pointing is a point where you can end up with roof leaks. But as with anything, as we've talked about, there's always preventative ways that you can avoid problems. So, just like there's roof maintenance, there is masonry maintenance as well. So, if you have a chimney or brick structure on a building, it is probably prudent of you to get someone to come look at it, or even you yourself, if you like after a big storm, go and just check the mortar between the bricks or stones and make sure that they're holding up. Um, those things can be caught before they become a problem. So call up a masonry in your area. I'm pretty sure a Google search will bring up somebody who is qualified to be looking at those things, and it is cost effective. You will save money in the long run, because if you have a tuck point issue, I mean, what happens? You, one, have a tuck point issue, so there's water getting into your chimney or brick structure. Two, if you have cracks in it, then that allows for water to get in, and that can lead to the mold, mildew problems within not only your chimney, but your ceilings, your walls. And three, I actually did find this out. If your mortar starts having cracks and holes in it, then that can lead to, your bricks falling apart, and all of a sudden your chimney crashes in. So, should probably get it looked at.
If you have water coming down from your chimney and that is where it is leaking, you most likely have a tuck pointing issue, not a roofing issue. Just to keep that in mind.
However, as with a lot of other things, water, if there's a little hole in the mortar and it finds its way into the system, it can always come out in other areas, which is why we understand that people call us.
I was
But,
talking more like directly coming down from your chimney.
Got it. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I have had people call about water coming down from their chimney.
Yeah. Just because roofers deal with the roof system doesn't mean that everything on the roof system is what roofers deal with. This is not a like transitive thing.
I mean, you're not going to call a roofer if your AC condition comes in. AC goes out.
Yeah.
You're going to call someone who deals with AC. Same thing. If your chimney has issues, a roofer can't fix that.
Yeah. Not unless they have a specialist on staff, which Roof Medics does not. Roof Medics doesn't. Some companies do. And that's just up to a Google search or finding a company that you trust and knowing about them in the long run. So let us talk about tuck point as a definition. As a reminder for everybody, it is a transitive verb, and it is to finish the mortar joints between bricks or stones with a narrow ridge of putty or fine lime mortar. So,
That kind of says exactly what it is. That's one of those definitions
it's
that
a lot of words.
it is a lot of words, but we've had some definitions that we've added words.
This is fair.
Some definitions actually do a good job of saying what it is. And this definition tells you how it gets fixed too.
I mean, true. We're leaving the definition?
We're leaving the definition.
Okay, let's leave the definition. So,
right. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, requests, you can email us at marketing@roofmedics.com or on any of our social media sites, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook.
And you can leave a comment on YouTube if you would like to.
All right. Have a great day, and we will talk to you next time.
Bye. That brings us to the end of today's episode. If you've been loving what you're hearing, make sure to press the subscribe button so you get notified anytime we post a new episode. Episodes come out on Monday and Fridays. Please feel free to share this podcast with a friend. We'd love everybody to be able to join us and learn more about the roofing industry as we go along on this journey. If you don't already, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. I will put all of our information down in the show notes below. Feel free to contact us with any questions or any roofing ideas that you would love for us to talk about. I hope you have a great day, and we will see you next time.